Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. Today we have a Vampires versus Greenskins cast. You can see I have a main line here of Graveguard with the Sternsman on one end. I have a Necromancer supporting these two units. Then I have a Mortis Engine supporting these three units. And I think this is a really good matchup for them, for these two units, as long as you can protect them from the Goblin Archers. In the back line, I was a little worried about large targets, so I just brought 4 Skeleton Spearmen, and they are all vetted up to rank 1. And that one's rank 2. And I brought these guys just because I knew Greenskins are always going to bring large things, I think, especially in this matchup. So it's nice to have these guys, and they'll just hold forever with that higher melee defense than Skeleton Warriors. I do have the Dire Pack here and the Varix Reavers. The Varix Reavers, just because it's nice to be able to tie down large targets and have some mass to throw around, and they'll do very well against Black Orcs, recharging. And then I have Dire Pack for like hunting large targets, and again, just the same thing. They'll do really well against giants. They'll do really well against Boarboy Biggins, and especially, any sort of heroes and stuff, goblin big bosses you can crack down on, they'll slaughter. So nice target there. I do have Manfred von Karstein on a zombie dragon. And he has so many abilities, but he's crazy. He has lethal poison, so he does damage over time. And then he has a huge weapon strength and just a ton of abilities. And he's got this new ability, Binding Winds of Blood. So this is the new vampire ability. It augments an area, duration constant, and then 5 melee attack and plus 10 leadership as long as your Winds of Magic is above 50%. So that's a really nice buff in the early game, and it stops you from crumbling. And the Necromancer here has it as well, so he'll be buffing these guys with it. It will keep them in the fight a long time. If we go over here to the Greenskins, they do have some new abilities as well. You can see these Orc Boys have Wah, so if their leadership is lower than 50%, they lose this, but they get that big melee attack and charge bonus. And then I believe Azag has the upgraded ability, so like Black Orcs will have this, but it gives plus 2 melee attack and plus 10 charge bonus in an augmented area. So like if you ran elite units or stuff with your main line, it would be bumping these Orc Boys up to like, what do they get naturally? Or they got like 38 charge bonus. So it makes them pretty terrifying. And then you can see he's got some Rusty Ears in the back. 3 Orc Boys, 2 Orc Biggins. He's got some Unbreakable Night Goblins, some Rusty Ears, a Night Goblin Shaman, Azag, Hammer of Gork, Ragnarok Queen. He's got some Vanguarded or Hidden Away nasty Skulkers, and we'll get this started. He also does have this Goblin Big Boss running around with these Orc Boy Biggins, which I think is just a great pick. You can see he's already opening fire on my Graveguard. Hammer of Gork doing some good work, and actually you can see that range there, 380 in Steel Faith. All the Orc Artillery just got pretty debuffed in the most recent patch, so their range is a lot lower. They still are pretty good, and I think pretty cost effective. So over here you can see I'm just kind of baiting with von Karstein, trying to get him to, make mistakes, let me get the charge bonus or whatever, just trying to occupy his attention. And then you can see here this Graveguard is getting trashed by the artillery. And then you can see I missed my charge there on Azag, which is not the best move. But he is going to flee here. And you can see Manfred is going to turn around. Well, he's going to summon some Skeleton Warriors to chase those guys off. I don't want that. See my Graveguard over there losing pretty bad because of all that artillery fire. And then, oh my god, this is my favorite thing. See Itchy Nuisance coming down, but it's not going to save them from the Dragon Breath. So I do annihilate these guys, and then I'm going to rear charge over here on these Orc Boys, and they're not going to be able to deal with that terror. You can see I'm keeping my spears close, trying to fill in gaps, make sure my Mortis Engine isn't exposed. You can see my skeletons over here pushing around. So I do break this left side. My right side is doing much worse, but it is winning. You can see, of course, my Graveguard are going to beat those Orc Boys, especially unsupported as they were. But you can see my Graveguard in the middle did get crushed by the artillery. Nice summon of the Spider Hatchlings protecting the Rusty Airs. See, Master of the Black Art, Undeath Resurgence. Really makes it very hard to break these guys. Even with Soul Blight coming down, they still are, they're not crumbling, but they're not dead. You can see over here I'm getting a nice envelopment. One of the big things left is this Ragnarok Queen. You can see me blobbing here for this Hammer of Gork, nice move. And you can see keeping all this stuff nice and present so that he can't get in here and take out my corpse cart or my mortis engine. And then you can see here my Varix Reavers taking what was a threatening unit on my flank and now is not, because these nasty Skull Reavers are going to get pummeled by my cav. And you can see pulling over here, just going to summon more skeletons. So always a good move to bring that raised dead. And it does proc that additional healing. You can see Invocation of the Heck coming down over here on my big blob. Skeleton Warriors are going to shut this down. Nasty Skullgirls running, and then I'm going to pull some of my Skeleton Warriors and my Dire Pack over here to try and get a cheeky charge, because like I figured I could get the drop on these guys pretty easily if I wanted to. And you can see over here my Corpse Guard trying to keep these Skeleton Spearmen in the battle. And you can see their health is actually definitely going down. And then he does drop on my Necromancer, and sadly most of my stuff is over here. You get a charge with my Dire Pack, but my spears are coming in soon, so it's nice to have them kind of held down. And then you can see he's doing a number on my Necromancer, but while he's doing that, he's kind of left his Queen isolated and getting some nice early damage on there. I swarmed it with spears on the Grave Guard, so he's kind of forced to bring Azeg over here to help deal with that. See, my Grave Guard did get in the back. They finally shut down the same record because I knew I was going to be blobbing, so I knew keeping that down would be pretty good. Right now you can see Manfred's health. 17 through... oh my god. What is that? Invocation of the Head coming down. That's high regen. But one of the things I'm going to be doing here is pulling in this Necromancer, pulling in this Mortis Engine, and then Manfred Varnkoshar is going to have 5 different regens going all at the same time. So as being a vampire, he does get the hunger, so in melee he is regenerating health. He gets the regeneration from being near a Necromancer who's not in combat. He also gets the Unholy Lodestone. I don't know what is making that noise, but it's horrible. The Necromancer does have the Unholy Lodestone. He does have also Master of the Dead, so that's 2 sets of healing on him. Then not only that, he has, so you can see all his buffs down here. Master of the Dead, Unholy Lodestone, Vigor Mortis, Reliquary Binding. He has the Hunger here, so there's his Hunger is finally procced. And then he not only has that, I'm going to be Invocation of the Hecking. So that is the 5 kind of just stacking regen, and just look at that health go up. Like, that is solid, constant healing. And he would be a beast to take down, because you can just look at how fast it goes up. You can see he's taking damage, but his hit point pool is not going down. And especially when you just inundate him with spears so they don't get every hit off, you're really going to struggle with that. And not only that, but the draining, and then the Dire Pack coming in there is just going to finish that job off. You can see my Varix Reavers just kind of running shop in the background, cleaning up those routing units, which is very important. You can see 230 kills on these guys. All my Grave Guard did well on the front line. My spears doing their job. And then, yeah, the MVP's Necromancer and the Mortis Engine, and then of course Manfred with his zombie Dragon Breath is always going to do well. Over here you can see the Biggins. Even the one that got blasted did pretty well. The other one even better. And then over here, yeah, you can see the Boar Biggins just not doing super hot, but they did get caught. And then the Rock Lob are doing very well as well, taking out almost an entire Grave Guard, I think, by itself, probably. But, yeah, anyways, great game to Prattman, showing off some of the new faction abilities for Steel Faith to kind of balance them off with the New World factions. So, yeah, thanks so much for watching, and that's that.